It was one of those Saturdays that almost felt too perfect to be real. The sky was a soft California blue, our front lawn basked in warm sun, and the smell of fresh-cut grass mixed with barbecue smoke danced through the air. My wife, Nina, was in the garden, lovingly spraying her roses. I was at the grill, flipping burgers, spatula in one hand, cold root beer in the other, and right there in the driveway, our 6-year-old daughter, Lily, sat cross-legged with her box of sidewalk chalk, carefully sketching out a giant pink dinosaur. "His name is Mr. Fuzzy-Sawus," she announced proudly, holding up a piece of glittery purple chalk like a magic wand. I smiled. Lily had a bit of a lisp, just enough to melt your heart when she spoke. She called T-Rexes Twix saws and said purple instead of purple. To us, it was adorable. To strangers, it was endearing. She was lost in her art, coloring stars around her dinosaur. Nina caught my eye from the garden and gave me that peaceful, end-of-a-long-week smile. And then came the SUV. It rolled in slow. Too slow. Not the I live here kind of slow, but the I'm hunting for trouble kind. Blacked out windows. No front plate. No rear plate. It crawled to a stop at the edge of our driveway like it was stalking prey. Out stepped 2 men. Early 40s, maybe. Black cargo pants, oversized tactical vests, and the words HOA Enforcement Division stitched crookedly across their chests. The kind of look you get when you buy fake authority online. The taller one wore wraparound sunglasses and a jaw clenched like a vice. The other guy had a buzz cut and a clipboard, his smugness practically dripping off the page. Neither one of them looked at Nina. Or me. They walked straight to Lily. "Hey there," Buzzcut said, voice sharp. "Sidewalk chalk isn't allowed. HOA Regulation 14.3. Lily blinked up at him, confused. "It's not the sidewalk," she said. "It's our driveway." Buzzcut laughed. "No," he mocked, twisted her words like a toy, and parroted back in a nasty baby voice. "Oh, da dooby wiveway. That's so adorable." My heart sank. Nina's gloved hand froze mid-spray. Then, without a word, Sunglasses stepped forward, looked down at Lily's drawing, and crushed it. His boot came down slowly, deliberately, grinding the pink dinosaur into dust. Lily's shoulders flinched. Her eyes went wide. The sparkle in her face just vanished. Nina stepped forward, voice clipped but controlled. "Don't touch her art!" Buzzcut lifted his clipboard like it was a badge. "Violation noted. Property defacement. You'll be fined $250. And this all needs to be gone by tonight." I finally spoke up. "We opted out of the HOA 5 years ago. It's on paper. We're not under your jurisdiction." Buzzcut smirked. "Regulations are fluid. Section 7C allows reinstatement. We're enforcing it." "There is no Section 7 to C," Nina replied. "I was on the board. I helped write the charter." Sunglasses stepped closer. Too close. Loomed over my wife like a threat wrapped in a fake vest. "You really want to argue that in court, sweetheart?" he said. That was it. Buzzcut turned back to Lily. He knelt, eye level, and said in the most condescending voice I've ever heard, "Maybe if you talked like a normal girl, people would take you seriously." Lily just stared at him, confused. Then her bottom lip trembled. She looked down at the smudged remains of her dinosaur. The sparkle didn't just dim, it died. And Nina saw it. She didn't yell, didn't curse. She simply took off her sun hat, folded it gently, handed it to Lily, and said to me, "Take her inside." I knew that tone. Everyone in earshot did. I scooped Lily up. She clung to my neck, whispering, "Did I do something bad?" "No, baby," I said. "You made something beautiful." And that's when I heard it. Crack. I turned just in time to see Buzzcut's knees give out. His body collapsed like a folding chair. Nina's elbow still hung in the air, frozen in the follow-through. His clipboard skittered across the concrete, stopping beside the crushed chalk dinosaur. Blood poured from his face like someone opened a faucet. Sunglasses panicked. He reached for something, pepper spray maybe, or a bluff of a weapon, but he never made it. Nina caught his wrist, twisted it like a pro, and slammed him face first against their SUV. No scream, no wasted movement, just precision. That's when it hit me. I didn't really know what Nina did before we met, but whatever it was, she didn't forget it. The neighborhood erupted. Doors flung open, phones lifted. Someone shouted, "She just dropped that guy." Sunglasses tried to twist free. Bad move. Nina slammed her shoulder into his spine, pinned him down with one knee, and calmly looked at me. "Get Lily inside, now!" And I obeyed. Sirens wailed down the block minutes later. Police, EMTs, you name it. When the officers arrived, Nina was sitting calmly on our porch like she'd just finished weeding the front bed. The officers gathered the facts. Neighbors backed her story. The two men? No real ID, no authorization. Their fake badges said HOA Enforcement Division in Phi Toit. Comic Sans. One of the cops held up a clipboard and scoffed. They seriously wrote a citation for improper grass patterning? Turns out, these guys weren't just idiots. They were predators. We later found out they'd been pulling this scam across 3 counties, impersonating HOA agents, harassing families, especially vulnerable ones, elderly couples, single moms, people they figured were too scared to fight back. But they picked the wrong house this time, and the moment Buzzcut mocked Lily's voice, they didn't cross the line. They obliterated. We went public. A neighbor posted a video of Nina's elbow. It went viral in less than 24 hours. News trucks rolled in. Interviews followed. But Nina didn't gloat. She said one thing that stuck with everyone. When a man mocks a child's voice, he doesn't deserve mine. He deserves a message. People called her the elbow. Artists painted murals of Lily's pink dinosaur with boxing gloves. One of them even added the words, "Stand tall, speak proud." Lily started speaking up more in class. Her lisp didn't disappear, but her shame did. She stopped whispering. She started leading. And that driveway? Yeah, it's covered in chalk again. Stars, dinosaurs, all of it. Only this time, there's a new dino next to Mr. Fuzzy Saw's, a green one with tiny gardening gloves. She calls it Justiceosaurus. Nina never threw another elbow. She never had to. People understood now. You don't mess with a child's voice. You don't mock their joy. Because sometimes justice doesn't come in a badge. It comes in a pair of worn-out sneakers and a mom with a gardening hat. So let me ask you, have you ever had to draw a line in the sand? Has someone ever tried to silence your voice or your child's? Drop your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how you stood your ground, or how you wish you had. And remember, some elbows don't need to be raised twice.